Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the 100 facts about me tag. I just thought this would be a good way for you guys to get to know me a little bit better. I am going to be splitting this tag into two separate videos just because I thought that doing a full 100 right through would really take up a lot of time and make for a really long video. So I thought I'd go ahead and split it up. That way I can talk a little bit about each little subject that I'm getting into. So let's go ahead and get started. My first fact about me, I have hazel eyes, though sometimes they look quite brown, other times they can look blue. So it's kind of a large spectrum there, but for the most part they just look green. Number two, my favorite color is scarlet red. I love the color scarlet red. It's just, I don't know. I just really like that color. It just makes me feel sexy and powerful. Number three, I love the smell of apples, and I want my whole house to smell like apples, like all the time. Number four, deer meat is my favorite meat. Like, I will take deer over, like, cow, like, pork or beef or anything like that, like, all the time. And when I was a kid, we ate so much deer meat that I can remember being in kindergarten, and we were, like, learning the food groups. And, you know, you have, like, your fruits, your vegetables, your grains, and your meat. Well, I wrote fruits, vegetables, grain, and then deer, because we had so much deer meat. My dad was a hunter, and then he had several friends that hunted, but they didn't want to eat the meat. They only were, like, trophy hunters. So they would call my dad and be like, hey, do you want this deer? And we just, like, eating chicken was a treat. Like, we never got anything like that. It was deer meat, because that's what we had. And still to this day, I prefer deer meat over regular meat. Or normal meat. Number five, I started playing makeup when I was about 5 years old. And I just remember watching my mom do her makeup and mimicking her. And she'd, like, give me some makeup to play with and all that stuff. So, and I think I was about 5. Number six, I did color guard all through high school, and I also did it 1 year in middle school. And I just loved it. It was the first thing in my entire life I was ever truly passionate about. And I loved doing color guard. Number seven, I'm afraid of spiders. I am terrified of spiders. It's weird. My arachnophobia goes in, like, kind of like in and out. Like, some days are better than others. I'm pretty good if a spider is outside and I can just walk away from it. I think spiders are gorgeous creatures. I think they're extremely fascinating. I love watching spiders build their webs. Sometimes I'll, like, grab a bug and, like, throw it into the web just to watch them, like, catch it. I know it's totally weird. But if a spider is in my house, ooh, no. That just really creeps me out. I hate killing them because I hate the idea of one of them touching me or me having to touch it. That just gives me the heebie-jeebies in the worst way, even if it's dead. Like, I don't want to touch it. And if they're outside, I don't want to touch it. But when they're an outside spider, like, I don't have to touch it. I'm not going to kill it. But if it's an inside spider, it needs to die. But then if it dies, somebody's got to clean that up. And that just, anxiety and stress and just heebie-jeebies, and I turn into a hot mess. Number eight, I'm afraid of heights. I'm terrified of heights. I get comfortable after a while of being up high, and heights is kind of one of those fears that I'm okay with making myself face, but I don't enjoy it. It's kind of one of those, like, just suck it up and do it type things. Same with, like, killing a spider. It's like, you just gotta suck it up and do it, but there are days with spiders that's like, there's no suck it up and do it. It's a put a cup on top of it or something and let somebody else deal with it later. Number nine, I'm afraid of elevators. I would rather take the stairs over taking an elevator. They freak me out. That being said, I'm also not a big fan of escalators. They freak me out too. I'm okay with escalators once I'm on them, but it's the getting off of them and getting on them part that, like, bugs me. And I've seen so many, like, news articles of people dying on escalators lately that just kind of ups the ante on the, like, dislike for the escalators. But I extremely hate elevators. Like, anxiety happens, which I'm not a person that experiences anxiety often. Pretty much if you face me with an elevator or a spider, then I just get really anxious. I've always said, like, my worst fear would be somebody sticking me on an elevator with spiders. Like, I would probably just have a heart attack and kill over. That would be, like, my worst fear. Number 10. I love roller coasters. It's weird that I hate elevators and I hate heights, but I love roller coasters, and I love the ones that flip you upside down. I enjoy those. Over at Kings Island, they have like the Beast and the Son of, no, the Beast doesn't flip, but the Son of the Beast flips. And there was Tomb Raider, which Tomb Raider is not exactly a roller coaster, but flips you upside down, takes you really high. And there's a couple of others that I really enjoy that flip you all kinds of ways, and I love it, no problem. Stick me on an elevator and I turn into like a baby. Number 11. I used to hate cats. Oh man, I thought cats were like evil spawn of Satan. I still kind of think that about female cats. I've yet to come across a good female cat. We had one good female cat for a while, and she's the one that had Banjo. It's Banjo's mom. But I've always heard that like female cats are super sweet when they're pregnant. Right after they have their babies, they're like super sweet and nurturing. And she was a very loving cat, but the dog we had at the time that we were taking care of, it wasn't really our dog. It's a whole other story worth, I don't know if it's worth getting into, but he attacked her. She decided she hated dogs. We got rid of that dog, and then she like would attack JJ just because, and JJ never hurt her or never did anything to her. That cat just decided that she hated dogs after that, which I don't blame her. But we obviously couldn't keep her in the house with JJ because it was getting really bad. And of course, JJ like wouldn't defend herself. If Shay attacked her, which was the name of the cat, JJ would just take it and cry, and it was a mess. So we had to give Shay to one of my coworkers. But I've never really come across a female cat that was a good cat other than Shay, which I don't know if Shay would have continued to be a good cat after having her kittens or not. Like, she might have turned out to be a bitch too. I don't know. Number 12. I lived in Hawaii. I don't really remember it. I tell people I used to live in Hawaii, and they're like, oh, that's so cool. And I'm like, I guess. Like, I don't remember it because we moved when I was 2. But I was born in Hawaii, and we lived there for the first 2 years of my life. So, number 13. Blue used to be my favorite color. 14. I used to hate the color purple, and only because my cousins were obsessed with the color purple. Like, obsessed. Like, if they seen something purple, they'd like flip out and be like, oh my god, I gotta have it. Or like, if we drove past purple flowers growing on the side of the road, they'd like ask our moms to pull over so they could get purple flowers, which of course our moms never did. And my cousins and I were really close in age. It was like, my cousin Trish was a year older than me, and then there's me, and then my cousin Chelsea was a year younger than me. So like, we were all right there, and we all hung out together a lot when we were kids. And so the two of them were just obsessed with the color purple, and it just caused me to hate it because I was like, God, you guys are annoying. Number 15. Country music is my favorite music. But number 16, I listen to rap when I'm grooming dogs. It just kind of gets me in the mood for grooming, I guess. Number 17, I like to listen to Britney Spears when I work out. So I'm just kind of all over the place with the genres of music that I listen to. Number 18, I'm fascinated with aquatic life, and that is so true. During the summer months, like, I love to be down in creeks and ponds swimming. You guys seen my whole video on getting to swim with jellyfish. I currently have a crayfish that I caught down in the local creek. I'm strange. Number 19, it took me forever to get really good at painting my nails with my left hand. So I'd always have my right hand painted really nicely, and then my left hand would be like a sloppy hot mess. But I finally mastered it. Like, I don't know. Probably took me a couple of years to figure it out. Number 20, I am dyslexic. Number 21, I was in learning the LD classes, or learning disabled classes, because of my dyslexia all through elementary school, middle school, and high school. Number 22, I had a speech impediment. And number 23, I took speech therapy for 5 years. I had issues with the letter R, and saying the letter R in any words that had an R in it. Occasionally it still pops out, but for the most part I'm pretty good. Number 24, I graduated high school with a GED, or General Education Diploma. I was on track for a Core 40, but I ended up being 1 credit off from getting my Core 40. So I ended up getting a GED, which if I had known that, I would have taken so many more fun classes instead of taking all the hard math classes and the chemistry classes and the Spanish classes that I took. They all ended up being worthless. Number 25, I've held a job since I was 16. The first job I ever had was as a busser at a restaurant, and from bussing I went to dishwashing, and from dishwashing to salad bar to the cash register to serving, and then they wanted me to learn how to be a cook, and I was like, no, I'm good, because I noticed how greasy everybody who did the cooking got, and I was like, I don't have acne going on as it is. I don't need to do that. So, but I regret not learning how to cook, because we had some really good food, and if I like knew how to do that kind of stuff, like we'd still be eating that, like me and Mike, because the restaurant I worked at had really good food. Number 7. I was a substitute teacher right out of high school. Just making sure we're still on track. Yeah, right out of high school, I got a job as a substitute teacher at the high school I just graduated from. Number 28, I was kicked out of 2 colleges because I suck at school. School's not for me. I don't want to sit here and say school wasn't for me, because I enjoyed it, but because of my dyslexia and my learning disabilities, typically the first time I take a class, I do really badly at it, and then the second time I take it, like after I've already had all the information, then I take it again, like I've got it, and then I get like a really good grade. But college doesn't really like when things work like that, you know? They want you to do good out of the starting gate, and my GPA was just completely shot to hell. So yeah, I ended up pretty much getting kicked out of both colleges that I went to. Number 29, I'm a trained dog groomer. I started training for dog grooming back in January. I absolutely love it. I completed 2 apprenticeships with 2 master groomers. I've still got quite a bit that I need to learn, I feel like, though I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm good to go, other times I feel like I need more training, but it's coming along. Number 30, at one point I wanted to be a nail technician, which I don't know why I'm pausing here. Yeah, I wanted to be a nail tech. It never happened because I couldn't afford the schooling for it, but it was something I was really interested in. Number 31, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a marine biologist. And I remember clear as day being like 4 years old, and my mom and dad used to take me to the aquarium in North Carolina a lot. The one over by Cherry Point, I think. And we lived over in Jacksonville, so I think it was in Cherry Point, but it might have been up in, man, I can't remember what it's called. Atlantic City? Atlantic Beach? Something like that. I don't remember for sure, but there was a really big aquarium, and we went there a lot, so I'm sure that's where I learned like what a marine biologist was. And I can remember being in the car with my mom and her asking me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, a marine biologist. And I was like 4. Where are we at? Number 32, I grew up hunting and fishing. Number 33, I can skin a deer and pretty much anything else. Skinning things isn't hard. I've skinned rabbits and squirrels and deer and birds and, you know, field dressing and all that good stuff. The only thing I don't really know how to do is getting like the proper cuts off of meat. But yeah, hanging something up in a tree and skinning it down and gutting it, that's I know how to do that. Number 34, I have a gun permit. Number 35, I started shooting guns, and I shot my first gun when I was 2 years old, which I don't really remember this, but my dad told me that he had me at the shooting range with some of his buddies, and his buddy had a kid or 2 there, and we were all behind the fire lines. This is like a big outside range, and I was outside, obviously. I was playing with the other kids or something, and I came up to my dad and was like pointing at the gun and stuff, and so he just picked me up and held me and was holding the gun for me and helped me pull the trigger, and he figured I'd shoot one and it'd be loud and I wouldn't like it and I'd cry, but he said I ended up really liking it, and I went through the whole clip. So, number 36, my favorite gun that I own would be my 9mm Glock, and I don't know. I enjoy it. It's really smooth, and I'm pretty good with that one. Number 36, my favorite gun that I own, like out of all of my guns, like my Glock is my favorite handgun. But out of all of my guns, the one that is my favorite would be my 16 gauge shotgun. And I love that one because it was my grandfather's gun. It's the gun that he learned how to hunt with, which he grew up during the Great Depression. So going hunting was a good way for him and his family to have food on the table. So just knowing there's so much history, family history that goes along with that gun, and also the fact that it's a bolt action. I like the fact that I like that. So that's just kind of fun. Where are we at? Number 38. I've never smoked a cigarette or marijuana or anything like that. Number 39. I have smoked one of those like vapor things. Like it wasn't an e-cig, but it's more like, it looked like one of those little pipes, and they have like the little flavored water things that like they attach in them or whatever. I tried one of those, and the first time I tried it, it gave me an asthma attack, which leads me into number, I guess it's not on here, but I have asthma, so, number 40, I know, like, pothead kind of songs, like the kind of songs that people who do a lot of marijuana listen to. Like I have all of those CDs in my car, but I've never smoked marijuana in my entire life. Number 41, I used to date a drug dealer. He just did marijuana, like dealing it, at least to my knowledge, and probably pills now that I look back on it. But yeah, that was interesting. And the whole time we were dating, I never realized he was dealing. I mean, I should have put it together, and I think in some ways I did, but I just wanted to deny it. But yeah, that was fun. Where are we at? Number 42, I can't grow anything, like at all. I do not have a green thumb. Any plant I get typically dies. Number 43, I inherited the house that I live in. Number 44, yodeling is my new hobby. Not exactly a new hobby, but newer, and I love yodeling. Like if somebody had asked me like last year what my hobby was, I probably been like, I don't really have one other than YouTube. I don't really have a hobby, but now that I found Yodel, like I'm always on Yodel. Number 45, I have dreams that come true. And they're not always like exact, but they're pretty dang close. Like, for example, one of my best friends, she is Hispanic, and during high school, like, she always dated black guys. And I had a dream our senior year of high school, and I was like, girl, I had a dream that you're gonna marry a white guy with brown hair, and you're going to have a white baby boy with brown hair. All of that came exactly true, except for they had a girl instead of a boy. But in my dream, it was a boy. So, kind of, and when I told her, she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, didn't really believe me because she always dated black guys. But she ended up marrying a white guy and having white kids, so. And then I've had other dreams like that come true. Nothing that I can think of off the top of my head, but I've had some. Where are we at? Number 46. My first car was a Neon, and a Neon was just my dream car. I loved the way those things looked. I thought they were so stinking cute. I wanted one in the worst way, and my parents got me one for my 16th birthday. Number 47. I prefer Pepsi over Coke. Number 48. I'm not the biggest fan of chocolate. It depends, but I'm really not a big fan of chocolate. Like chocolate ice cream, chocolate ice cream, and chocolate frosting. I really don't care for either of those. Number 48. Oh, no, 49. I slept in the same bed from the time I was 2 years old until I was 15. Not a lot of people can say that. But I went straight out of a crib and right into a daybed. Which, I mean, I had different mattresses. You know, one wear out, my parents gave me a new one. But I slept in the same bed frame and from the time I was 2 until I was 15. Number 50, and the last one for today. I'm kind of a loner. That's not to say that I don't have friends and I don't enjoy people's company, but I really like to be by myself. So, yeah, and in high school, in a lot of ways, I felt like a loner. I just kind of kept to myself a lot of times because I was just, and that can get into a whole other story, but I was really getting into a lot of drama with some people, and I was figuring out some girls that I hung out with a lot were more like fair weather friends. They weren't really actually good friends, and I just kind of came to the conclusion that I was a loner, and it's okay to be a loner, and just kind of got comfortable with it, I guess, and now I accept it and embrace it. I have friends. I do have some close friends, but I like to be alone a lot. So that sums up half of my 100 facts about me video. I hope you guys have enjoyed so far. Leave any comments down below if you have anything to say. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.